All right, gather around the campfire, horror fans, because today we're talking about a ghost. Not a ghost in the game, but a ghost of the gaming world itself. A title called The Lightkeeper that, in my opinion, is one of the most brilliant pieces of psychological horror to come out in recent years. And yet, amidst all the hype for giants like Kronos and Little Nightmares 3, this masterpiece completely vanished. It slipped through the cracks, a genuine hidden gem that went almost entirely unnoticed. And that, my friends, is a cosmic-level tragedy. Welcome to the Paranormal Cell. Today, we're pulling back the veil on the terrifying story and lore of the Lightkeeper. Now, a quick note before we descend into madness. This channel is a fresh little sapling in the dark forest of YouTube, so if you enjoy diving into these forgotten worlds with me, nothing helps it grow more than hitting that like button and subscribing. It truly makes all the difference. All right, with that out of the way, let's turn on the light and see what's lurking. Our story begins with a man named Arthur Lucian, a veteran haunted by the ghosts of the First World War. Looking for peace, he takes a job as a lighthouse keeper on a remote, windswept island south of Iceland. Simple, right? A quiet gig in a lonely place. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything. Immediately. He arrives to meet the two keepers he's replacing, and guys, they are not okay. One of them has a face that looks wrong, like something is trying to push its way out from the inside. Their movements are stiff, unnatural, like puppets on a string. Major red flag number one. Inside the lighthouse, Arthur finds a letter from the previous keeper. It's basically a warning label that reads, "If I knew where I was being sent, I'd have never come." The letter tells a grim tale from 1912. Three experienced, sane keepers, Jonathan, William, and Victor, vanished without a trace. The lighthouse was dark, the place was a wreck, and all that was left were bloodstains and torn clothes. This place is not a refuge, it's a tomb. Another letter hints at the source of the horror, a sealed cellar beneath the lighthouse. A man named Father Abraham once broke the seal and became convinced that sea devils had taken the missing men. He scattered holy symbols everywhere, but it did nothing. He claimed he could feel the presence of the drowned, their cries carried on the wind. So, Arthur's first night on the job. He wakes up to find bloodstains near the lighthouse lever, a dead bird inside. Then live birds start attacking him. He sees a figure at the top of the lighthouse, but when he races up there, nothing. Just a set of old keys that mysteriously appeared. The atmosphere is literally driving him to drink. He finds a hidden stash of alcohol in a cabinet, and breaking his vow of sobriety, gives in. He gets blackout drunk. He wakes up with a brutal hangover to find the lighthouse beacon dark, and outside, three ominous figures standing in the mist, the shapes of the missing keepers. A lightning bolt flashes, and they're gone. Arthur panics. He rushes to the radio to call for help, but a staticky voice on the other end gaslights him, telling him it's all in his head and just to hold on for 5 more days. No, Arthur is done. He tries to flee to the boathouse, but along the way, he makes a horrifying discovery. Charred, shriveled bodies scattered across the island, dozens of them. He races back to the lighthouse, only to find it occupied. Muddy footprints cover the floor. The door to the top is locked, and one of those charred creatures attacks him, knocking him out. He wakes up with a bottle in his hand, sees one of those sinister birds watching him, and something in him snaps. He smashes the bottle. He's had enough. He's going into the forbidden cellar to find the truth. And this, friends, is where the game stops being a simple ghost story and becomes a full-blown descent into psychological hell. Arthur gets trapped in a corridor, and the very fabric of reality begins to warp. He finds a painting of a dead woman in a boat. Behind it, a note. "You took lives from others." The door opens, and he steps through, into the same corridor, but now it's distorted, filthy, and smeared with grime. Blood starts pouring from the ceiling. A clock spins wildly. He finds another note. You wasted your life. He steps through again, and now the corridor is upside down. He's standing on the ceiling. Above him, on the floor, are bodies wrapped in burial shrouds, blood dripping on him. Another note. You turn truth upside down. This is a guilt trip manifested as a physical space. It's incredible. He finally escapes this nightmare loop and makes it to the real cellar, where he finds an axe. Touching it, he's hit with a vision, one keeper murdering another with that very weapon. He finds a note from a keeper named Victor, detailing the final days of the three men. The oldest, Jonathan, believed the devil himself had come to the island. They hid in the cellar, but it made things worse. William went mad, and Victor, possessed by a nameless force, killed him with the axe and burned his body. Arthur finds Victor's corpse hanging in the cellar, a final note begging for forgiveness. The entity in the cellar continues to toy with Arthur, presenting him with an inarchable kerosene lamp and a final cryptic note. As long as you flee from truth, the light will flee from you. Then the cellar ignites, and in a flash, Arthur is no longer underground. He's back in his World War I army barracks. Shells are exploding outside. The ghosts of his past are here. And we learn the real truth, the core of Arthur's guilt. During the war, he transmitted incorrect coordinates for an airstrike. He bombed a shelter full of civilians, women, and children. The silent, staring ghosts in the barracks are the people he killed. The weight of this memory is the true horror. The island, the cellar, the entity, it's all been feeding on this. He's thrown back into the cellar, now haunted by massive, burned figures, the manifestations of his victims. At the end of the room, he sees the old keeper, Jonathan, sitting calmly. Jonathan speaks. Here time has no meaning. The devil will keep us here as long as the light remains buried. He explains that William and Victor surrendered to the devil and became his children, and now the devil is about to have another son, Arthur. Jonathan tells Arthur he brought his doom with him. He was condemned long before he arrived. Arthur blinks and realizes he's been talking to a skeleton the whole time. The last thing he sees is a monstrous, snarling version of himself. The entity, the devil, possesses him. Arthur awakens outside, his consciousness fading, and is faced with three final choices, representing three different endings. Ending 1, surrender. Unable to bear the guilt, Arthur climbs the lighthouse tower and hangs himself, surrendering completely to the darkness. Ending 2, accept his guilt. Arthur goes to the withered tree with the 3 crosses and begins to dig. A blinding, purifying light erupts from the grave, terrifying the demon inside him. He seemingly perishes, destroying the entity with him, and a 4th cross is raised beside the others. Ending 3, flee. Arthur rows away from the island. He survives for decades until April 30th, 1945, the day Adolf Hitler's death is announced on the radio. As he walks the streets of London, he sees 3 figures pass him by. One of them turns, and it's a younger, demonic version of himself, with glowing yellow eyes. The 3 figures, the corrupted keepers, have come to collect the one that got away. Arthur's aged body drops dead on the street. You can run, but your past and the devil you made a deal with will always find you. So what is the Lightkeeper? Is it a ghost story? A demonic tale? I think it's something more profound. It's a story about trauma and guilt as a literal, consuming entity. The lighthouse isn't haunted by ghosts. It's a magnifying glass for the horror you already carry inside. The devil is the part of you that can never forgive itself. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive. Remember, this channel is just starting out, and every like and subscribe helps us uncover more forgotten stories like this one. I'll be waiting for you in the next archive. Until then, may all the creepy stuff pass you by.